Hey crew, I've got the key to that 22 Toyota Camry TRD. We are going to take it for a drive, but first let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. The only real change for 22 is the addition of this exclusive Cavalry Blue paint job, which even on a murkier day like today catches the eye and works with all the TRD blacked out styling. There are projector LED headlights as standard, but then incandescent turn signals, some fake vents painted in black off to the corners, and then functional front air dam here. There's even a pass-through airflow around the Toyota logo. There's an extended splitter in gloss black. And then in profile, we see the 19-inch TRD specific wheels. They're lightweight alloys and they're matte black. I like the style of the wheels, but when you get up close, I feel like they never get clean. I've tried. Within those wheels, we can see the upgraded 12.1-inch rotors and 2-piston front calipers painted in red. Wrapping over the wheels are Michelin all-season tires, 235 section front and rear. These extended side skirts in gloss black have red pinstriping. There are blacked out door mirrors and an optional black contrasting roof. Stepping back to look at the profile, we can see the Camry TRD's 0.6-inch lower ride height. With those side skirts, it kind of just draws the eye downward and even emphasizes the lowered stance relative to the standard Camry. And then at the back, kind of just putting a period on performance for the TRD, is this gloss black wing. Camry is spelled out in black, and your Toyota logo also in black. Red TRD badge. I wish the taillights were LEDs like the Camry XSC, but instead they're incandescent fully. Fake vents off to the side, protruding diffuser in gloss black, and twin chrome exhaust ports. The look of the Camry TRD sells me on its sportier side. We just need some luxury upgrades like LED taillights and turn signals. Let's look at the interior. Opening up and looking inside. All Camry TRDs get this blacked out interior that's a mix of leatherette and then some fabric for the inserts. These red contrasting seatbelts look cool, along with red accents, red contrast stitching, and red trim for the floor mats. Hard plastics all over the door panel. The only thing that's not is injection molding for the armrest. Metal look trim looks cool, one-touch up-down windows, and then we have the optional JBL 9-speaker sound system with a sub. Sliding inside, easy to do, don't need to duck my head much. And then behind my own seat at 6 feet tall, I've got lots of leg room, tighter foot pockets, and my knees are pitched up a little bit, so thigh support isn't the best. Headroom is great though. Head clears the roof. There are no air vents, no USB ports, and no armrest to come down with cup holders or storage or anything like that. That would be nice. I can fit in the middle seat with headroom, so that means that 3 full-size adults could sit side by side in the back. Let's check out the front. Little pop to that door close, but mostly solid. You also have keyless entry for the front 2 doors. Up front, the driver gets a power adjusting and lumbar seat, but the passenger has manual adjustment. Both get TRD embroidered into their headrests, their red accents, and then Camry TRD floor mats, aluminum pedals over here. Both front doors now have injection molding for this top piece. Otherwise, like the back doors, all hard plastics, save for the injection molded armrest. Power adjusting, not power folding door mirrors. Press and hold that button to open up the trunk, and it does deploy all the way up to give you access to a generously sized 15.1 cubic feet of space. You cannot expand it by folding the rear seats down like you can in some sedans. I do like the Camry TRD on the floor mat. Forgive the rattle, that's my license plate cover. Sliding in. And I'll put it into accessory mode. We get a leather wrapped steering wheel with red contrast stitching on the inside, nice and sporty. Red analog gauges either side of a very small 4.2-inch TFT display. You can get a larger TFT in other Camrys. Injection molding up on the dashboard, and we have the upgraded 9-inch touchscreen infotainment with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. As standard, you get a 7-inch display Whichever you choose, you get these physical button redundancies, volume knob, and tuner. I like that. The speed and resolution of the system is not amazing. It does get the job done though. You got this gloss black all the way around, even down here to your single zone of climate control that collects dust and smudges all too quickly. Shelf here, you can slide forward for storage, USB port, DC outlet, a TRD specific gear selector with red contrast stitching, drive modes, hold button, parking brake, cup holders, a deep console storage with 2 USB ports, 1A, 1C. Visibility is excellent, and you also have standard blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic. The cabin has some gussied up bits with the red accents. There are just a few luxuries I would like to see, specifically at night, even just having a dome light that comes on when you open your doors. I don't know. We are going to take it for a drive, though, to see how sporty the Camry TRD is. All right, let's fire it up. Little deep rumble with the catback exhaust system. TRD shows up on the TFT. Infotainment. Took a second, but here it is. We're going to start out in normal drive mode and then throw it in reverse to take a peek at our backup camera situation. All right, so we've got 2 different angles, a narrower view and a wider view. Both are not the highest resolution I've seen, especially at night, but they work. We also have trajectory lines. Down into drive. Begin with a turning radius test, as per usual, lined up. Adequate, not amazing. Over the first couple bumps, ride feels plush enough. Turn signal. Nothing to write home about, in a good way. Horn. Pronounced. Let's talk powertrain. 3.5 liter V6. It's naturally aspirated. You can get this engine in the top trim Camrys in addition to this TRD. It makes 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. It's routed through an 8-speed automatic gearbox to just the front wheels. So no more power in the TRD version of the Camry. But they didn't just leave it as a styling package. It does have those upgraded brakes I mentioned in the exterior walk-around. It also has stiffening, so the underbody bracing has been improved. It has stiffer and shorter springs, and it has beefier anti-roll bars. That and a light tune to the steering rack gives it this kind of little more on-edge approach to the drive, while still, as I just experienced there over some bumps, being very compliant. This is not punishing you for choosing the TRD with the ride quality. Braking, solid feel of that pedal. Really good feedback as I dug into it. Brought me down easily to a stop. Didn't lighten the rear end too much to feel unstable. You can easily manipulate, modulate the throttle. It's not too touchy, gets up to speed easily. And the 8-speed works flawlessly in normal mode. Cruise in between those gears. Let's say we want to spice things up a bit. How quick can the Camry TRD get to 60? To find out, I've got my race box set up here. I'm going to throw it into sport drive mode and sport powertrain setting. Brake boosted and away. Little chirp from the tires. And there's 60 in 6.3 seconds. Little slower than Toyota's own estimate of about 6 seconds. and some independent tests have seen even quicker than that. Maybe the brake boost wasn't the right tactic there because we dislodged some traction from those front tires off the line. I think maybe just laying into the throttle would have given us more grip. 6.3 is not slow though, and that's this vehicle. It's, if not for all the TRD stuff on the outside, something of a sleeper as a mid-size mainstream sedan. It really does get moving, and it's not just out of the hole. Mid-range is also pretty potent. And I like the soundtrack. It's not overdone. It's deep. It means business. It gets you enthusiastic about the drive, while when you go into normal everything, not turning into too much of a drone. Like it's there, it's kind of ever present, but it's at a low enough level that it's not bothersome to you. You would not have any issue on a longer trip if you needed to be at something of a constant throttle. It doesn't become tedious. It just sounds good when you want it to. And then while coasting at higher speeds, there's wind noise, but otherwise this is a pretty darn well insulated cabin for the price point. The seats are comfortable. It's not fidgety in the steering. The ride quality, as I mentioned, is well dampened. It's a good commuter. Now, we did that modest braking test, but the TRD isn't off the hook until we do something from 60. So, let's get on it. Way earlier than needed because those brakes are really solid. They haul the vehicle down. As I said before, they inspire confidence. These are a worthwhile upgrade to help solidify the Camry TRD's performance chops. How about the handling? All right, let's give the Camry TRD some exercise. I'm in sport everything, and I'm gonna take over manual control. I mean, initial thoughts, wow, the steering's actually super solid. Turn in is a touch slow, but it's extremely progressive and gives me a lot of feedback. I was not expecting that. Add to that some serious performance in a straight line. And those brakes which continue to deliver. And you can really have a good time behind the wheel of the Camry TRD. A couple takeaways from this exercise. One, the stiffening they've done to the chassis and suspension completely transforms the way the Camry handles. It controls its body so well. Two, as we just experienced right there, even in manual mode, the transmission will auto upshift before the indicated red line of 6750. That doesn't mean the shifts are slow, but it does mean if you want to string it out, you can't do it fully yourself. You have to shift earlier if you want to use the paddles, or you just let it auto upshift itself. And another thing, because the body is so composed and because the engine pulls really strongly, it makes you want to extract more out of the Camry than is available if you're really pushing it, because we don't have a limited slip differential. It's just an open diff in the front, and so you're kind of just wasting a lot of the power to the inner wheel that is losing traction. If you had that limited slip differential, and then it could therefore distribute the would otherwise be wasted power to the outside wheel, you could have so much more pull through the corner, and you'd feel that much more confident in the way this car maneuvers and powers through corners. Missing that, also not having a good set of summer tires, at least equipped on this one, that's easy to change, but missing the limited slip differential and having full manual control kind of holds the Camry TRD back from big boy performance sedan territory. All right, backing off now, let's go into eco drive mode and talk about the Camry TRD relative to its competitors and discuss pricing. The starting figure for this vehicle is just under $34,000. You don't have to pay any extra for that Cavalry Blue, and I love that because it's the right color choice in my opinion. This one is tested though is about $35,700 with a black contrasting roof and the larger infotainment and JBL sound system. Compare that to the Kia Stinger GT line, not the GT. The GT line is a little over $37,000. It makes 300 horsepower from a turbocharged 4-cylinder. It gets to 60 in 5.2 seconds. Importantly, you can have that one in rear drive as standard or all-wheel drive as an option, neither of which are available in the Camry TRD or in the other competitor I will be discussing in just a sec. The Kia Stinger GT line has 26 combined MPG ratings. The Camry TRD, for comparison, is 25 combined from 21 city and 31 highway. Then there's the Honda Accord 2.0 Sport, staying within this mid-size sedan segment. 252 horsepower from its turbocharged 4-cylinder. It gets to 60 in a pretty quick 5.7 seconds. The fuel economy is 26 combined for that one as well. It, like the Camry TRD, is front-wheel drive only. This vehicle comes in at a pretty solid value for the 301 horsepower performance and the nice chassis dynamics and good steering feedback that I've been experiencing. However, it is missing some of those even just premium details like rear air vents and rear USB ports and cabin dome lighting, things like that that you kind of expect in the mid $30,000 range, things that all are standard in the Honda Accord 2.0 Sport. Meanwhile, the exterior styling is pretty boy racery, and if that kind of turns you off, then you might like the more upscale and yet sporty look of the Kia Stinger GT line with that rear-wheel drive performance. If you want true enthusiast DNA, if you want that limited slip differential, you're either going to have to size down to get into something like a Honda Civic Si or Volkswagen Golf GTI, or you're going to have to spend more money to get something like the Kia Stinger GT, the full-on GT, not the GT line. So that isn't really a knock in this weird mid-size sedan segment against the Toyota Camry TRD, as much as it is the styling makes it look more capable than what you're actually able to access. It's fun, it really is, and I think it does look cool, but it misses a couple of those pieces that would just push it over the top. I hope you guys have enjoyed this POV drive review. If you did, please like, comment, and share the video. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to get notified, and I'll see you next time.